Not gonna lie, when Benny thinks I'm going too fast in the car, she tells me. And when I tell her I'm not going too fast, she says, "Oh, you're going the speed lemon?" She means speed limit. Sometimes she says lemon speed. And that takes me a little longer to get to the final destination. So let's get this podcast started. Welcome back to Not Gonna Lie, a Wave original brought to you by Yasso, ridiculously better. I'm your host, Kylie Kelsey. I'm tuning in to the Paralympics because you should be too. Let's cheer on Team USA. I'm still learning how to say, "Can I pet your dog?" in Italian. I did ask while I was there using Google Translate if it's appropriate to ask Italians to pet their dogs. I was not discouraged. And I'm the mother of another birthday girl. That's right. This week, Elliot Ray Kelsey turns a whole hand. That's so sad. That's so sad. It's also today, the day that we're recording. It's March 3rd. It is Ellie's 5th birthday. There were some presents on the table today. She got a chair that she can sit inside of. Don't ask questions. That's ridiculous. She likes to be cuddled, and the chair is now a backup. She did pick her cake. She shares a birthday with my dad, and I do think that she picked the cake based on my dad, which is so Ellie coded. She wants a chocolate cake with Bugs Bunny holding a carrot on top of it. And Bugs Bunny is one of my dad's favorite characters, and they haven't talked about it in quite some time, but that's what she picked. And I really think that it's because she wanted my dad to be excited about the cake. She's so sweet. I can't believe she's 5. It messes me up. Coming up on today's episode, the return of You Know What's Fucked Up in honor of a certain social phenomenon I've decided to take upon myself to shut down in honor of women everywhere. Happy Women's History Month indeed. Then in Doom Scroll of the Week, some more of my hottest pacifier takes since the real ones enjoyed them so much last week. After that, I'm going to be joined by ESPN NFL analyst, fellow mom, Jason's coworker, all-around badass woman in sports, and someone, you guessed it, I have no business speaking to, Mina Kimes. But before we get into all of that, let's get our real one mention of the week. This week, we are utterly honored. Queen Emma's in on the puns today. What are you doing? This is silly. To get a shout out from some real ones at the Philly Zoo who shared photo updates on the otter the girls and I adopted for Uncle Trav. Let's see what it is. Not gonna lie, our giant river otters are still screeching with excitement over their new zoo parent, Uncle Trav. And we learned that Uncle Trav is actually the zoo parent to 3 otters. We met Thor. I don't know if we met the other ones. I didn't know that we met Thor. We met Thor. They're so loud, it's impressive. Yes. What do you mean you don't remember if we met Thor? We met Thor. We met Thor because Thor has a thunderbolt on his chest. Isn't Thor the lightning something or other? Yeah. I'm really clued in, guys. Is that Marvel? Marvel characters. That's not a Marvel character. Thor's not a Marvel character. Thor's a Marvel character. Jesus Christ. Queen Emma wants us to do a collab with the Otter podcast, aka the Other podcast. But I just feel like that would be a dumpster fire. We'll see how it goes. If any real ones want to support the Philadelphia Zoo, you can adopt all sorts of animals with a donation. Yeah, you should do that. Moving on, it's time for the return of my favorite segment. You know what's fucked up? Hey, you know what's fucked up? Assuming a woman is pregnant or trying to get pregnant when she simply declines a drink. Oh my gosh. This happens to me all the time, okay? When I say all the time, I mean all the time. I've been on record multiple times informing the real ones that I do in fact not usually drink. I don't usually do it. I do not. I just don't like it that much. I think water or iced tea or a crispy Coke, They're all better. Let me go even further. Worse than that is commenting to her face in response to her declining a beverage. I may or may not have recently had someone offer me a beverage, and when I said, "Oh, no, thank you," they said, "Are you pregnant?" I'm not joking. Now, to be fair, you picked the right bitch, because I can brush it off pretty fast. But let's not do that, because we've said it so many times on the show. You never know what someone is going through, what they have gone through previously, what stage they are at in their journey if they are building a family. In other words, they could be trying, and you could be bringing something up that's not really good. Or even weirder, think about this, you could be saying it to someone who has actively chosen to not have kids, which is also none of your business. You know what I mean? As always, I'm speaking for myself and my own experiences, but I do think most women would agree, maybe we just shouldn't do that. Because in the same way that if someone looks like, maybe they could be pregnant, we don't then ask, "Are you pregnant?" Don't do that. We're not smirking at people. Like, just because you didn't ask the question doesn't mean that your smirk or raising your eyebrows is better than that. You're not, but that's equally bad. It's almost worse, because now, do I address you doing that? And if I do address you doing that, does it seem like I'm being defensive? You're making it weird. And you've put us both in this situation now. And that's not fun for anyone. So this is similar to when Jason and I first got married and people would ask, "Are you trying?" And I would say, "We practice a lot." Now it's weird for both of us. Why do you need to know that? That's between me and my husband. No. What should you do instead, you may ask? Here's a few options, okay? Offer her something else to drink and then move on. Or don't offer her something else to drink and move on. Another option, mind your business. This is one of my favorite options. Again, you picked the right person. I'm actually not super bothered by it. Would I have preferred if you had not looked at my stomach and then looked me back in my own eyeballs? Yeah, I would have preferred that. But at the end of the day, let's go over some scenarios. Some people could have had a loss. Some people could be actively in IVF treatments. Some people could have a diagnosis that could make it physically not possible for them to have kids, even though they would like to. Some people might have addiction to alcohol and be in recovery. Some people might just not like the fucking taste. That's me. I just don't like the taste of it. There are so many reasons. I could keep going. I'm not going to, because I feel you get my point now. If you have something that you have said in response to an inquiry about maybe a pregnancy status and or why you do or don't drink, feel free to drop it in our DMs or in our comments at NGL with Kylie. I'm very curious to know what are some good ones that we can unleash. And that's it for You Know What's Fucked Up. Next, let's get to Doom Scroll of the Week, brought to you by Intuit TurboTax. Now, this is taxes. First up on Doom Scroll, I guess my algorithm heard my comments on Benny and her pacifiers last week, because now I'm getting lots of suggestions on how to kick the habit. Queen Emma, the clip, please. The caption says, "He's not a baby anymore. The moment he said goodbye to his pacifier truly went down in history." They attached a whole wad of balloons to the end of this pacifier and let it fly up into the air. Oh, he's waving to it. Oh no. Okay, all of these methods are lovely. Okay, I love the idea of making it some type of beautiful moment. You want to send it away with some balloons? Beautiful. You want to box it up and send it to kids who need pacifiers? Beautiful. You want to plant it in the garden and grow a couple cake pops? Beautiful. I'm going to tell you right now, that's all fun and games until they get pissed or tired and there's no Pacis. Okay? We've been there. I'm going to tell you how I got Wyatt. It was irresponsible as a parent because it only created, you guessed it, more responsibility for us as the parents. We went to the store. I still can't believe we did this. We went to the store and we exchanged her Pacis for a fish named Pacis. Yep. Here's the deal. I don't recommend. I don't. Because, like I said, we then acquired the responsibility of taking care of a fish, which, oh God, this is such a bad confession. Did the fish die because they may or may not have dropped a marker in the tank? And I shouldn't laugh. That poor fish. They were constantly trying to give the fish things. And it turns out that Pacis actually couldn't receive things because Pacis was a fish. And I say was because that marker took Pacis to her grave. We had to have a whole conversation about fish heaven. Maybe keep yourself. Let's not exchange pacifiers for a more difficult conversation. Don't do what I did. Are we getting another fish when Benny has to get rid of this Pacis? Fuck no. Okay. We might try the method of like snip the ends of it. If you snip the ends, it doesn't quite give the same satisfaction and you slowly snip away at it. Like I said, one of these days we're going to be done with a Pacis. And when will we do that? When we're fucking good and ready. Leave us alone. Last scroll. As the real ones know by now, the best part of TikTok is the comment section. And I can't even begin to explain how quickly. I mean, Olympic gold medal sprint, if you will, to the comments for this one. Queen Emma, can you play the clip, please? Because, good God.
Anybody see the ketchup before I have to ask my wife?
For my audio listeners, he's asking if anyone has seen the ketchup, and he is scanning his fridge. He goes down the door once, he goes to the middle of the back to the like inside of the fridge, and then he goes back to the door. Okay? Of course, my ass clocked the ketchup. That's easy. Next question. I don't know if I've addressed this on here, but I did address it in my vows. And let me tell you what my husband needs from me. I can guarantee that he will always need me to find things for him. That is part of our relationship. It's part of our love language. He knows that it excites my soul when he says, "Have you seen my truck keys?" It excites me because you're fucking right, I have. And I clocked it. I feel very strongly about this. Anyway, I have to go to the comments. You run. This person said, no. Go ask your wife and bring us with you. And it is a face of someone who is trying their very best not to laugh. Okay? Outstanding. The next person said, yes, all the women saw it in 8 seconds. And I think that 8 seconds is generous, honestly. This last one was the comment that got me. This was the one where I was like, Emma, put it in the rundown. The person said, you want the Hunts or the Heinz? Guys, in case you didn't realize, there are 2 ketchups. First of all, it is absolutely, I would just like to say, batshit crazy to have 2 brands of ketchup in your fridge. I just want to throw that out there. As someone who is a strict condiment household. Strict. Okay. You will not. I'm so sorry to do this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the brand. You will not catch me with Hunt's ketchup in my fridge. You will not. It will never be. There will be Heinz ketchup in my fridge. Okay. My 6-year-old would sniff that shit out so fast and then laugh in my face for trying to serve it to her. Okay. Absolutely not. Hell to the no. It's going to be French's yellow mustard every time. Literally every time. And Hellman's mayonnaise. Don't argue with me. Don't fucking come in my comments with Dukes. I swear to God, I'm not even a mayo person. I will go to the pits of fucking hell on this discussion. I'm not having it with you. I'm not. I clocked the Heinz the second it entered the screen. The Hunts I saw on the second scan of the fridge door because it's not my brand. It's not my brand. My eyes were looking for the Heinz because I thought, this gentleman, he's doing the right thing. He's coming to us before he goes to his wife. How kind. He knows what's up. He has to be a Heinz man. It turns out he's unhinged because he has 2 different types of ketchup in his fridge. That's for another day. All right, that's it for Doom Scroll of the Week, brought to you by Intuit TurboTax. Coming up, I'm about to be joined by one of the best NFL analysts in the game, Mina Kimes. But first, some messages from me. The real ones know my stance on ice cream. It's not really for me. I like it, but it's a Jason dessert. Jason loves it, and I don't really need it that much. So I'll leave it more for him. But if we're talking about Yasso, I'll take that. Yasso took everything you love about ice cream and upgraded it with creamy frozen Greek yogurt. It's truly the best of both worlds. Delicious ice cream taste and better for you nutrition. And it's available in bars, chocolate crunch bars, new 14-ounce spoonables, sandwiches, and poppables. Yasso has something for the whole family, which is great because my kids couldn't possibly all like the same thing. And luckily for big families with lots of different tastes, Yasso comes in so many delicious flavors. I would say that I'm a tried and true person. I am mint chocolate chip. If I'm gonna have something, it's mint chocolate chip. And the mint chocolate chip bars specifically, this right here, the mint chocolate chip bars are delicious. Yasso bars are 100 calories or less and have 4 to 5 grams of protein per bar. And they're made with quality ingredients. You can find Yasso at grocery stores nationwide and get this. Love it or it's free. They put their money where their mouth is. Try Yasso and not totally satisfied? They'll give you your money back. Find Yasso at grocery stores nationwide and learn more at yasso.com. As a parent, the days, weeks, and months fly by without you even realizing. It's March already. What? But April feels far away, right? We have time. No, wrong. April is right around the corner. And April 15th, aka tax day, is only a little over a month away. If this realization about the 2026 tax deadline is hitting you hard, maybe you get nervous or stressed thinking about taxes, I have some great news. Intuit TurboTax is here to help. Intuit TurboTax will help you get your taxes done right. With Intuit TurboTax full service, you're matched with a dedicated expert who understands your specific tax situation and can do your taxes for you start to finish. You can directly import your tax forms right into the app and hand everything off to your expert. While they work on your taxes, you get real-time updates on their progress, and they work to get you the most money back, all while giving you time back to do things like go pick up your daughters from school, help your husband find something in the fridge, or plan a 5-year-old's birthday party. Visit TurboTax.com and get matched with a dedicated expert today. Intuit TurboTax, now this is taxes. As a parent, DoorDash has always been there for me when I needed them most. We all know life gets crazy. DoorDash helps bring a little order to it. Like literally yesterday when we were prepping for birthday celebrations and I needed to get some balloons. I DoorDashed it because that's what I needed. And I wasn't going to put everyone in the car to go out and get a bag of balloons because it was supposed to be a surprise. Now, I have candles left over from Benny's birthday, but I may or may not have DoorDashed those candles too. Whatever. Work, life, stress, and multitasking constantly is just the daily routine when you have kids. Being able to offload a few of those to-dos so you can get a little more time to focus on yourself and your family is huge. When life happens, DoorDash is there. Real life needs real relief. That's why DoorDash is there for whatever you need, whenever you need it. When the chaos of life hits, DoorDash will be there. We all know life gets crazy. DoorDash just helps bring a little order to it. She's an Emmy-winning NFL analyst for ESPN and one of the best in the business. period. She's also an award-winning journalist and writer, the host of the Mina Kimes show featuring Lenny. She's a fellow mom, Jason's coworker. We'll get into that. And now she's officially not going to lie. Mina Kimes, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited. I have been a huge fan of you ahead of my husband working for ESPN. And more importantly, the way my husband speaks about you and your knowledge and the way that you break down the game. And he speaks extremely highly of you, which only made me more invested in anything you had to say. But speaking of my husband, he's been your coworker at ESPN now for 2 NFL seasons. So I have to ask, who's the most difficult person on the desk and why is it my husband?
It's absolutely not him.
Damn it.
Unfortunately, like so far down on the diva rankings in sports media. I know you hate to hear it. I wish I had an embarrassing story or even like a secondhand story. And sadly, it's all rave reviews. And I'll embarrass him for a second. I don't know him super well, but in our interactions, because my show is on Monday Night Football. He's on Monday Night Countdown. We're on before that. So he works with a couple guys on my show who adore him as well, Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears. So we are all on the road in the same cities every Monday. And people always ask me 2 questions I'll bring up. One is, what's it like dealing with so much crap from men because of your job? And the first thing I always say is it's on the internet. It is not like that actually with my colleagues or even people in the NFL. It's been an amazing experience. They are so supportive, so cool. It's entirely external. And then the other thing people say is, well, how can men help women? Because there aren't that many of us, particularly ones who do my job. And I think your husband is an extremely great example of how you do that, which is just by being freaking normal. Like asking, like just engaging in like normal football conversations with me. And it is not about like being a, weird performative ally. It's the things you don't see. It's if I make a comment about something I see in a game and he will remember it weeks later and bring it up, which sounds so small, but those are the things that actually, I feel like I'm embarrassing you, transitive property here, but those are the things that actually help. He has been awesome in that regard. And many of my coworkers are equally awesome.
Oh, that's honestly, it's lovely to hear. We love to joke around here, but I know how much he has loved working with everyone that you guys have on Monday nights. So it is nice. I'm sure he would be blushing and telling you no, but it's lovely to hear about him in such a nice way. Now, have you been surprised by any outfit or stunt that he's done at this point?
Not really. Actually, the instrument thing, well, that was the beginning of the season, right? When they were in the band.
Yes.
I didn't know
that
he
one
had
even
that.
shocked me.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Our girls saw him and were like, what's dad doing? And I was like, playing the saxophone apparently tonight.
Who knew? I loved that. That was, I think, Baltimore, if I remember correctly.
I
that
believe
was a
so.
great bit. But it was not surprising, no, because I feel like it would take a lot at this point.
Okay, I'll tell him to up his game so that he can surprise you. Now, this is not my first time singing your praises on the show. I don't know if you saw this, but when Taylor's quote from the other podcast, we call that the other podcast, went viral, we played your TikTok using the sound. Queen Emma, can you show us the clip, please?
And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
Yes. Now, I love this so much. I love this so much because, first of all, badass quote. Second, it applies perfectly. Why do you love it so much? Why did you feel inclined to do this? Because I'm sure, like you already mentioned, this is something that you've actually heard.
Yeah. So I love the quote from Taylor because it was so tongue in cheek, obviously. And I think it was very revealing of someone who has a good sense of humor about themselves and awareness of the way that they can trigger some people and how silly it is and having fun with it. And I try to have the same attitude towards some of the reactions I evoke. I aspire to. So hearing someone who's obviously on a much bigger stage, I think express the way a lot of us in a lot of women who work in my industry feel was pretty cool and it was funny. But you know, I joke about it, and I know I started off by talking about like men on the internet, but it's also like not indicative of most of the male sports fans I interact with in the wild, who are like amazing and complimentary and come to my shows and listen to my podcast. So there's kind of two sides of it, right? Like joking about the angry ones on the internet while also being aware that actually like most of them are pretty cool with it and most of them give us great feedback.
Now, one of the things all of your fans, including me, love about you is the very intelligent, very funny way you respond to certain men who share their problems seeing you on their screens. Some might even call it an exercise in fuck around and find out. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
I feel like I was joking with you before, like I try to resist showing them or responding, I guess, and then eventually the demons on my shoulders outweigh the angels, because it's like a mixed bag, right? Like you don't want to give too much
them what they're looking for.
Yeah, because most
also
do
they started it. Yeah.
I think for me though, and like this is like sometimes because I get called DEI probably 100 times a day. Every now and then I'll respond. Not one. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't feel good. It does. But also, I want all the other people who get called DEI 100 times a day to see it and to see that how stupid it is,
yes,
and how it's universal for all of us who are not, you know, who are minorities in these spaces. And I think sometimes the best way to conquer it is by making fun of it. So I do want kind of to show that to people how silly it is.
Well, also, I think that if you're going to be what I would describe as hateful, if you're going to use that as like a dig at someone, if you're going to be hateful because you couldn't do that, then sometimes you deserve to be smacked down.
Yeah.
But in honor of Women's History Month, I actually thought we'd bring back our segment, Fuck Around and Find Out. And we'd take a look at a couple times some Twitter bros.
Oh, no.
Well, they fucked around and you promptly let them find out. So this first one's a classic. Some dumbass wrote, "Women shouldn't be allowed to talk sports. This DIY hire is brainless, clueless. Her takes are dog shit." To which you replied, "DIY hire." That's a quote. That's a quote right there. Is this one of your favorites?
I do like the ones where you don't actually even have to use your own words to clap back. You can just use theirs. So I will say I do enjoy that aspect of it. Do it yourself indeed. I also have found on the internet that it is often the case that the people who are most critical of other people for not having English as a first language, perhaps, or wanting to respect those who don't, often have the worst command of the English language itself. It just seems like that's like a circle, the Venn diagram. So I do enjoy that aspect of Twitter in particular.
Next up, maybe one of my favorites. Someone said, at Mina Kimes, "You are definitely gaining weight." And you replied, "Yeah, that's what happens when you're 38 weeks pregnant."
It is, yeah.
I mean,
strange but true.
The craziest part about this is that it's not like, yeah, that's what happens when you're pregnant, or that's what happens when you're 20 weeks pregnant. You were 38 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's pretty damn pregnant. Yeah. I you know what? I actually worked so I was working. So I must have been on TV because I think I worked the day before I induced. So from home.
Like a
so
true
I just, waddled upstairs. That's what you do when you're 38 weeks pregnant. Plopped down in front of gave takes on, it was the NFL season. He was born during the NFL season. It was like week 4. And then waddled downstairs, went to the hospital and gave birth. So I think I probably wrote that week when I was truly out of fucks to give. But I also, Kylie, didn't announce or reveal I was pregnant, I think until I was like definitely in my 3rd trimester. So there was a while where I'm sure a lot of my colleagues were just like, she's gained some weight.
Yeah, but they had the social wherewithal to not say it out loud.
They would definitely not say you've gained weight on air. Also, they probably noticed I was wearing like weird 90s style blazers a lot.
Sure. Yeah. Number 3, this last tweet is a classic. Someone tweeted something I'm assuming you hear a lot. Can someone remind all of us how much football Mina has played?
Yeah.
To which you expertly replied, taken as many snaps in the league as you, champ. Let me just, first of all, calling this individual champ, well done.
Yeah. Thank you. Champ, chief, and boss are my 3 go-tos. Funny thing about the you didn't play thing is like I so value the playing experience of my colleagues who are like bring such a different I mean it obviously there's a million things that enables them to bring to the studio show element, but there's a lot of stuff I truly can never speak on because of it. But they also understand that for those of us who didn't play, we can bring something different as well.
And so it's crazy to think that these men on the internet are like, nah, I shouldn't listen to you. And meanwhile, I live with a guy who played in the league for 13 years.
Pretty good player.
And he was fine. But he I always say is like he was always a very intellectual player, and he loves your takes. So like that's the balance you're talking about here of like everybody else can sit down.
Well, I that's again very kind, and I feel like I can't even look at the camera whenever we say that. But I do think there's something instructive in it for all of us because we all now have these exposure to opinions from more people than I think humans were ever supposed to hear from. And it's weird because the internet flattens those opinions with the opinions of the people we should be listening to, right? It's very easy for me to think, that's so cool to hear that. But also, you know, Rich Dolphins fan 69 told me that I'm the C word and should go back in the kitchen. And in my dumb brain, and I think all of our brains kind of equalize those, and we have to train them to not do that.
To not
and
give
that's
them any
hard.
weight.
It's hard, right? Like we're not,
Yes.
we're all now like restaurants on Yelp.
It
sucks.
It's a deep, dark hole.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for Fuck Around and Find Out, because if we kept going, we'd be here forever if we really wanted to talk about all the times that you've expertly owned someone on the internet. So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing back that segment. It's been a while and we needed it.
Thank you.
Now, I am a big Eagles fan.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And we're kind of an Eagles podcast around here.
Okay.
Sometimes Chiefs. Uncle Trav. Go Uncle Trav. But I would just like some insight on some birds questions. I have not caught much of the combine coverage, so I'm going to start here. What prospects have caught your attention? Keep in mind, I'm going to send this straight to the Eagles front office.
Well, first of all, I'm married into an Eagles family, so I don't know if you know that
because you're a smart woman.
In-laws, insane, terrifying, like the
Thank you so much. We
callers.
really appreciate that.
The call is coming from inside the house here. So much so, like literally when some of the downtimes this season, my mother-in-law, when she came for Christmas, the first thing she said to me before, "Where's my grandson?" was, "We're the shame of the NFL." Keep in mind, the Eagles were like 8-2 at the time. So
we were down on ourselves.
That's what I'm dealing with personally. So I know the plight. I'm very aware of it. A lot of really exciting players at the combine. I actually just mentioned the Oregon tight end, Kenyon Sadiq, who broke the 40 record for tight ends, which is insane. I thought would be a great Eagle. I don't know if he'll be there when you're picking. I think it's 22 or 23, but to me, he would be an awesome addition. Corner, there's a couple corners who are exciting. I think that's a position that was kind of much maligned, the second corner spot in Philadelphia. So that's something. But you know this from your household and from the fandom, Eagles love drafting in the trenches. So we can talk about the corners and the receivers, the tight ends, but it seems like more often than not, especially picking where they are, I wouldn't be surprised if they go offensive or defensive line.
So I'll still watch football games and I watch the line first. And so like someone will break out.
It's the right way to watch the game.
It's fascinating to me. And so much so that like I always tell people when my husband was still playing, after like a tough game or he would have a good run or something like that. And he would get in the car and he'd be like, "What'd you think?" And I'd be like, that one poll was great, but
Wow. So so there's this great book about football for anyone who wants to learn about the game called Take Your Eye Off the Ball. That's basically like, when you're watching the game, take your eye off the ball and actually focus on the trenches. And it's a really hard to learn how to watch football the way you're describing. But if you do, you can learn so much about what's actually happening in the game.
It's made me appreciate not only the offensive line, but also the running backs.
Yes.
Because the guys who like LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi, the Super Bowl 52, the speed at which they would cross the line of scrimmage they were like a Mack truck. You were not stopping them. And so watching the O-line block and make a hole for them and then seeing them hit that hole at the speed that they were was like, I can't describe the feeling. It was thrilling.
That's awesome. They broadcast a few games with the camera. I forgot, Skycam. They don't do it often, where they would show it from behind, and which is we watch tape. You see the all 22 view, and then you see the end zone view. And I thought to myself, if they just showed games this way, all offensive linemen would be celebrities, because you actually see everything from when you're watching it from behind. You can see everything that goes into like a 7-yard counter run and why it's such a freaking miracle.
Yep. Well, back to the combine, now that we've gone on a love affair of offensive line. Unlike you, I'm far from an expert on that. I'm also far from an expert on parenting, but I'm going to ask this anyway. If there was some kind of parenting combine, what would be your best event?
Oh, my best event. That's a great question. So my son is 2.5 right now, and I'm really good at getting him to eat, and it's all through the powers of distraction, which is probably bad parenting, because that's
great parenting.
You're supposed to like actually teach them to like, I don't know. I'm really good at like, hey, look over here, boom, salmon in your mouth.
Love
like,
it.
At restaurants, I can get him to eat a full plate of food. I think distraction generally, like, being 2.5, and I'd love your advice on just, is he always going to be this way?
Yes. Isn't that exciting?
What happened? He used to be so chill.
Yeah. I will say I've heard word on the street is that boys are different with energy at this age.
The energy is crazy.
Yeah. There's a number of times where we've been sitting on a Saturday morning and my 3 older are sitting at the table coloring. And I think to myself, boys would never.
Never. No.
Ever.
He's 2.5. He walks into a room with like a nice restaurant or, a library, and he literally, you can see his eyes casing the joint for things to jump on and jump off and danger. Mm-hmm. It's like just drawn to danger. But anyways, I'm not good at stopping that, but I'm good at like when he is upset or he's like locked, they lock in on stuff. I'm good at like changing being like, hey, look over here. Like, how about this? Try this. I'm good at coming up with alternatives, which I realized with a 2-year-old, your whole like 90% of my energy is just towards giving him the illusion of choice.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I know that.
1,000%.
I know that. So I'm good at that. I don't know if that's a combine
very
thing.
Good skill.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's a very good skill, because sometimes I just let the meltdown take over, and I'm just like, you know what? You look like you need a minute, and I'm going to give it to you.
Just live with this. Live in this moment.
I'm going to let you have this, and then we're going to move on when you're done.
I need to be more comfortable with that, I think. At any given point with 4 kids in our house, there's always at least one who's, if not actively crying, on the verge. So I will say they are at a lovely age where like our 3rd yesterday got upset and our 2nd was like, how can I help you, Benny? My God.
And I was like, that was cute.
That's incredible.
First of all, cute. Second, love that you said that. That was a very nice way to approach your sister. And of course, she proceeded to try and kick her in the face. That was, we weren't focusing on that because that wasn't.
It's the intention.
You get it. What would your worst event be?
Oh my God. Great question.
Stopping the launch off of high places.
Just, I can't physically restrained. He's stronger than me.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, how is that even there? I don't know what is. It's like an ant where they can lift like 100 times their body. Like, I'll try to move him, and I'm like, what is happening here? You like turned yourself into a brick somehow.
Oh, see, mine go Jello.
Oh, just like.
Yep, mine go Jello, and actually I'll go to pick them up, and their arms actually, like, I don't know how they do it, but they like relax their rib cage, and I can no longer hold.
It's weird, right? Like,
it's funny. I would say that my worst event would probably be getting them to eat their food.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's where my husband and I have like one of our many parenting complimentary moments.
Yeah.
Of like where I'm like, I made the food. I don't know what you want me to do. It's not disgusting. You ate it last week and you ate the whole bowl. And my husband's like, well, that looks delicious. And he's
good at
like,
tricking them.
He still has patience.
Yeah. My husband makes the food. So I think it's but
there you go.
Will give him like an adult size plate. And I'm like,
ambitious.
And he also will just be like, we tried. I'm like, he has to eat. He has to eat his food.
That's what Jason does. I'm like, well, you know what? They'll eat when they're hungry. And he's like, no, you'll eat what's on your plate.
Yeah.
But I can be gentle about it. And I'm like,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, you do it.
Complementary parenting is such an underrated aspect of marriage. Like when you figure out, it's like, oh, we have like, you can beat press, but I can beat zone, and maybe we can, it's just like it's you don't know until it happens, and it's crazy how you settle into your roles without even talking about it. Yes,
for sure. You definitely figure out on the run, like you're doing it on the fly, you're figuring it out. But once you settle in, it's lovely because it really is. There are times where I'm like, I don't have a stitch of patience left in my body, and Jason's like, I got this. And I'm like, thank you so much.
Yes.
Because I was about to kick them out of the house. This episode is sponsored by Liquid IV. All throughout my life as an athlete and now as a mom, wife, and I guess podcaster, I have a lot of days where I need to be on for an entire day. Like at the Olympics, when I was interviewing athletes all day and attending their games at night, it was really taxing, almost like an Olympic sport, if you will. I'm lying. That's a joke. That's rage bait. I'm kidding. Or today, getting 4 kids breakfast, 2 of them off to school, 2 of them taken care of while I record this podcast to talk to someone as incredible as Mina Kimes. So many things to do during the day, but all day events aren't just about the opening moments. They require superior hydration from start to finish. My favorite flavor is probably the white peach. It's so good. It actually tastes like a juicy peach. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. You have to go try it for yourself. Liquid IV is the only sugar-free hydration product on the market clinically demonstrated to hydrate faster than water alone. Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Show up start to finish with hydration from Liquid IV, hydration multiplier, sugar-free. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code NGL at checkout. Real ones, if you don't know this by now, well, I'm just going to tell you again. I'm a lifelong germaphobe. Always have been, always will be. But literally every day I'm forced to confront this fear because I have 4 tiny humans who do the grossest things imaginable. Genuinely, some of them, I don't understand how many times we can come out of the bathroom without washing our hands and then have to be told to go back in the bathroom to wash our hands. What are we doing? Or we let the dog lick our hands clean at the table and then proceed to pick up our food and eat it. They've made choices that I don't necessarily agree with. But fortunately, the CVS Health app has me covered, so I can mount our family's defense against germs, especially during cold and flu season. I will always get more hand sanitizer to hold us over until we can wash our hands with, you guessed it, hand soap. The CVS Health app makes the whole healthcare experience simpler and more convenient, especially for busy parents and caregivers. It lets you refill, track, and manage your prescription needs anytime, and you can quickly find care from qualified providers. Minute Clinic providers offer healthcare services for everyday and ongoing conditions. Go to cvs.com/app to learn more and download the app today. This episode is sponsored by YouTube TV. The real ones know I'll never lie, and that's why I gotta be honest about my current TV situation. Guys, it's incredible. Everyone knows there is a massive amount of soccer going on this summer, and with YouTube TV, I won't miss a single moment of the action. Even if the kids are bouncing off the walls begging for a snack, I can still catch every moment thanks to the game-changing features like key plays, unlimited DVR, and playback controls. The other thing that we do in our house with YouTube TV is when the girls argue about the TV, I can still watch it on my phone. And that is gold. YouTube TV gives us 100 plus channels, multi-view, and up to 6 accounts for our family. That means you get the reliability you need without the headache. There's a reason YouTube TV has been rated the #1 live TV service by JD Power 3 years in a row. Stop settling for meh TV. You've got nothing to lose. You can try it for free and cancel anytime. Go to YouTube TV/NGL to start your free trial now. New users only. Terms apply. Device and content restrictions apply. YouTube TV was rated #1 in customer satisfaction for live TV streaming. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Now, we can't do a proper Eagles preview segment without asking the biggest question of them all. What can you tell us about why Dallas will be awful for another season?
First of all, the way my mother-in-law talks about the Cowboy, I didn't realize this until I married into the family, is
how serious we are. Let me tell you, it is equally like Go Birds and Fuck Dallas are the most, they have to be the most common phrases in the Philadelphia area.
Also, the perceived slights. Maybe that's the strongest quality of Eagles fans is like the sensitivity to perceive. But like we'll be watching a game with an announcer and she'll be mad because like Chris Collinsworth was like complimentary of Dak Prescott 8 weeks ago on TV. What are you talking
Mina, don't
about?
get me started.
It's wild.
Don't.
Dallas defense still very bad. So not to pander.
Let me tell you, you let your mother-in-law know if she needs someone to talk some shit with about the Birds, you send her my way. There have been times where speaking of WIP, there have been times where I have literally, my dad has an old school radio that he will bring out in our living room to play WIP, to listen to Mike Quick and Merrill Reese call the game so that he can mute the television. This is, and the worst part about it is my husband, well, Mr. Joe Buck is now a coworker.
Lovely, lovely man.
Delightful, charming. I'm still pissed about it. He was like Voldemort in our house. When Joe Buck was going to call a game, you better get out the radio.
Why are Eagles fans so angry about announcers? I don't think I've ever encountered a fan base.
They're biased, Mina. I don't know. They're out here talking up Dak Prescott and talking about how great the Dallas defense is doing against the Eagles offense. And we're just over here living in reality while they're living in delusion. And it gets under your skin.
It's like y'all been to so many Super Bowls the last 10 years. Like you're so successful. I just don't understand this well of anger and resentment when you have so much success.
No, always. We could have the Chiefs Super Bowl record in the last 10 years, and we would still be pissed. We'd still be pissed.
Some would argue that's how you can tell the true great ones, is can they find the chip on their shoulder when it shouldn't exist?
It's a skill.
Yeah. Brady was famously very good at this. Tom Brady would be, even when he won multiple Super Bowls he'd still be like, oh, this guy said a negative thing about me 8 years ago on a TV show and, whatever.
Yes.
Gets it going.
I mean, speaking of Tom Brady, he lost that Super Bowl.
Speaking of Tom Brady. He did lose that. Yeah.
I will tell you the number of times I said 41-33 in San Francisco this year because Pats fans were just being Pats fans. And I was like, no, guys, we're good. We're good. 41-33.
Scoreboard. Do any Patriots fans listen to this podcast, do you think?
I definitely. And to them, I say 41-33. Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Can't help myself. Now, I'd love to talk to you even more about motherhood. We'll shift gears because you are constantly posting very funny stuff about it. One of my favorite posts of yours was when you shared the scouting report of your son when he was 7 months old. Queen Emma, we have the clip, I think.
He is in the 94th percentile size. He is a little over 7 months. I think he weighs over maybe 25 pounds now. He's got, as you've seen, enormous legs, haunches, really. So those are the strengths, I would say. He's somewhat coachable. Sleep training took about 2 weeks, and it mostly stuck. There's been a couple of regressions.
This is perfect. This is so good. Now, this was when he was 7 months old. You said yourself he's 2.5 now. So how are we feeling about that scouting report? Is it holding up?
It holds up. The coachability, maybe not so much. This is what every team wrestles with at the combine, right? Like, what are the intangibles? Can we get him to follow directions? How does he take to it? I've learned, and this would be, by the way, for NFL teams, this is like the worst possible thing you can be. He's like an independent thinker.
Sure.
Teams don't love that. He's very just like, I'm going to do things my way. He slimmed down a little bit, though, I will say, because when he was born, he was very big. Part of the reason I induced was he was trending so big. Mm-hmm. My doctor was like, if it were me, it was a woman. And I was like, I'm going to listen to you.
Whatever you say after that, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm not looking to push out. And I was gigantic. I was over 9 pounds as a baby. Mm-hmm. So they say that. So
did you do the extra size scan at like 32 weeks or something?
Yes. All the size scans. And it was like, that's where I was like, all right, I'm not trying to see what happens. But he was very big at first. And I remember showing his picture to Jeff Saturday, who is another legendary center who works at ESPN, former. And the first thing he said when he saw the picture of my son was, Mina, put that boy's hand in the dirt immediately, which means he thought he should play in the offensive line. But he slimmed down a little bit. And I think that's what happens, right? They kind of, when they start walking.
They get upright and start walking, and all of a sudden the muscle starts forming a little bit more and the chub goes away.
I know. And I'm just looking at the pictures of his legs from when he was a baby. I just want to grab them.
And you want to squeeze them again. Our youngest, like I said, she's about to be a year old at the end of March. She is currently wearing 18 to 24 month clothing. And not super thick, sadly enough, because I love fat baby thighs. I love chunky baby thighs so much. But she is not super thick. She's just long as can be. So I do know about some ridiculous percentiles.
But long babies are easy to, like, when my friends have tall toddlers, I'm like, whoop, I'll throw them. I'm like, dang, the weight distribution makes them easy to carry. My son is like a chicken nugget. Like, he is just dense. And I think that I know I was talking about how I got like, literally when I lift him up, compared to even if it's a toddler who weighs the same but is longer, I find them easier to hold.
It's so funny when you say dense, because our second is dense and has been dense since the minute she came out. They weighed her on the little like newborn bassinet 3 different times. The third time they removed all the blankets, because we were all like, there's no way she's that heavy.
How heavy was she?
She was only 8 pounds, 13 ounces, I think, but she looked smaller than our first, and our first was like 8'6" or something. And it was just one of those moments where you're like, there's no way she's that heavy. She's been dense her whole life.
She's
now you drop her, it sounds
insane.
like if she falls off the back of the couch, she did it just last night, it sounds like a grown man hit the floor. It is insane. It's insane. She will be our toughest athlete, I would think. I'd also like to talk about some of the more humbling or overly honest things that my girls have said to me.
Oh God.
I'm wondering if your son has said anything that we would classify as overly honest. I'll give you an example. I not so recently have been told, well, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, let's be real. I was getting dressed and one of my children said, "That's nice. Your stomach is squishy." And I said, "Thank you so much. That's really kind of you." There was another time where
Vivid.
My child said, "Dad's boobs are big,
That's worse.
But your
worse.
boobs are tall. So do with that what you will."
Taking out both of you with one swing, by the way.
2 birds, 1 stone, and that's many.
Oh God. My husband taught him how to do this, which is
how kind.
He says, "Mama farted."
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll be out in public and like my shoe will squeak and he'll be like, "Attention!" She farted. And everyone looks. I'm like, I didn't
It was my shoe.
It's not what happened.
Classic.
Why are you blowing up my spot?
Yes.
Why do you have to announce that to the world? That would be the
is-
worst thing he does to me right now.
It's nice to know that at 2.5, he's just going full go on it, because I do think that we're a farts are funny household. In some households, I grew up finding out are not a farts are funny household. That's not the life we were meant to live. So we have a lot of like someone will fart, a child will fart in one room and say, Dad did it. They did that yesterday. Dad's not even in the state. He's not even in the same state. And they're out here trying to blame Dad for farts.
He knows it's funny because he says it and then he laughs, like a little like
Of course he does.
demon laugh to himself.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love that so
Every
much.
time.
Well, I do also want to bring up, you said, it's cool that my son and millions of other sons are turning on the TV and think it's normal for a woman to be talking about football behind a desk. This is, I find, to be so important. So we go from farts are funny to how important this comment is, because I always talk to people, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. Raising 4 girls, it is so special to get to talk to women like yourself who have become experts and have put themselves in a position to be an outstanding role model for the 4 girls that we are raising, knowing that they can look at what you're doing and understand that if they want to grow up and be intelligent, beautiful women who talk about football, that they can do that. Because you're showing them that that is the world that they get to grow up in, that you have paved the way and that they can do what you've done. So that is so special. And I appreciate that you are that role model.
Really
but
nice thing to say.
for you to bring up that sons are also doing the same thing is so special, because shouldn't that be how we're raising boys?
I hope so. And first of all, it's very sweet of you to say that about your daughters. And, people always ask me, did you want to do what you do growing up? And I always say no, because it never even occurred to me that it was a thing I could do. So I really hope girls see us on TV and all of the women who work in NFL media right now. And it just even occurs to them as a possibility is something that's really meaningful to me. But as far as boys who already knew it was a possibility, I just think that it's nice to see it normalized. And we started off by talking about how important it is to have this support, and both behind the scenes, but I would also say on camera, of my male colleagues, because when, a young boy turns on ESPN, he doesn't just see me talking about football, he sees men listening. And I think that is as powerful as anything I'll say. And it's something that I think, not just in sports, but to have that modeled in all walks of public life for young men is really, 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 really helpful, the image of it alone. So I'm so grateful to my colleagues for doing that for me, because I think it is so impactful in ways maybe they don't even appreciate.
That's really special. That's such a great point to know that image of you sitting on a panel of your peers and you guys showing each other the mutual respect of listening to the points and having a pointed conversation is an example that really everyone should be able to enjoy and get something from. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny and watch her where she rightfully belongs all over your screens on ESPN. Thank you
so much. This was a ton of fun.
And that's a wrap on another episode of Not Gonna Lie. You can find even more clips from my longer conversation with Mina on my YouTube channel on More Shit Monday. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Follow us on social at NGL with Kylie for clips throughout the week. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Not Gonna Lie is a Wave original brought to you by Yasso, ridiculously better. Thanks again to the real ones for tuning in.